Hi, Jeremy here, Modern Vitality. If you're dealing with any kind of complex chronic health condition or all the symptoms like brain fog and exhaustion and weird pains and all that, you need to understand you have a multi-systematic issue going on, which means we need to start to manage variables, right? If you want to get better, there are steps you need to take. So in this video, I'm going to explain stop digging, okay, which is like one of the first steps. And if you get this, you're going to be in good shape. All right, let's get started. So what do I mean by stop digging? I'm going to use a few different metaphors to explain this concept for you. But I want you to imagine I've got a book on my desk and I need to read this book, right? I got to get it done. And I start reading the book and then somebody else comes and sets another book on top of that book. And instead of moving this book away, I just go to the next one that's right here on top, start opening that, I start reading it. I want to finish this book and then I'll go back to the first one, right? And then while I'm doing this, somebody else comes and puts another book on top. I haven't finished yet. So now I got to open this one. I'm working on this third one. Then I'll get to the second one. Then I'll get to the first one, right? And this keeps happening. Book, 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 book. Okay. Your body, there's this idea, at least in natural health, your body kind of works like that. And the idea is your body processes the latest insult first, right? So if it has something to heal or repair, it handles the most recent thing first before it goes back to older business. So just like your stack of books, some of the initial problems can just get buried under new things, right? New issues. And this is the trouble with, looking at triggers, right? You got to understand your triggers because this is the trouble with healing, because if we keep adding more burdens and more work for our body to do, then of course we're never going to make it back down to some of that initial stuff that needs to get healed. And I know I'm speaking kind of vaguely and kind of metaphorically, but you can find the biochemistry for this, right? Another one, here's a more concrete example. Your liver, okay, has a lot of jobs, and one of them has to do with turning fat into fuel, right? Breaking down fat and helping you use it as fuel, right? Glucogenesis, right? So if you have alcohol, right, one of the things that the alcohol does is it takes priority in your liver. So when you start to drink alcohol, it immediately becomes a poison, and your liver says, all right, stop everything, right? We're not going to be breaking down any fat for a little while. We need to handle this alcohol first so it doesn't kill us. So that's what happens. You have a drink, like you have a glass of beer, a glass of wine, or a shot of like vodka or whiskey or something. And over the next hour or so, your liver is going to be busy with that, breaking it down so it doesn't kill you. Okay. If you have two, then your liver is going to be busy for the next 2 hours. And that's kind of the idea with sobering up, right? You don't want to drink and drive. So if you have a drink, then you need to wait for your liver to detoxify that and process it, right? So that's what's happening. But what that means is you just put a more recent job on the desk of the liver. Here's the alcohol, handle that. But I was going to break down some fat and turn it into energy. Now, do that later. Right now, we don't want to die. This is more acute, right? This is more recent. Handle that first. And this is one of the reasons why drinking alcohol can lead to weight gain, is not because alcohol makes you fat, but it stops you from becoming thinner, right? Pretty interesting. So looking at this recency thing, you can start to look at your whole body, your whole system, not just your liver, right? But everything you got going on in terms of what am I piling on the desk, right? If I want to heal from fibromyalgia or Lyme disease or mold exposure or candida or long haulers or chronic fatigue syndrome or whatever it is, right? If I'm trying to heal, or some autoimmune condition, right? If I'm trying to heal, then I need to make sure I'm not adding more work for my body on a daily basis. So what does that mean? Well, we start looking at all the triggers, all the things that set us back from healing, and stop doing it. Right? Stop adding more problems to the desk of your body. It's not just your liver, right? I use the liver as an example because of drinking and stuff, but I mean, your whole body, every system is working on getting better all the time, especially your immune system, right? Your immune system is going around. Not only does your immune system keep you safe from pathogens, going around and gobbling up bacteria and things like that, right? But your immune system also helps with tissue repair and old injuries. Isn't that interesting? So imagine if you have a old injury, right? Like maybe you broke your ankle a long time ago and never quite healed right. It always kind of hurts. But at the same time, you're always dealing with, viruses or spirochetes or whatever it is. And your immune system's kind of busy with that. That's more acute. It's more urgent. It's more recent. Maybe it's not going to get to the ankle. And this is really, really interesting because we see this happen, especially with fibromyalgia, but some of these other conditions have it too, where if you get in a car accident, right? And you get some kind of injury, like you get whiplash or, your low back or your left foot right? If you're in the US, your left foot. If you're in the UK, it's probably your right foot, right? But whatever one's not on a pedal gets slammed into the floorboard of the car, and you can actually break your ankle there or fracture it, right? Get these injuries. And what happens, it's really quite interesting, because then you don't heal from a physical injury the same way somebody else would, because your immune system's busy with other stuff, because there's already a weird inflammatory issue going on, or some kind of hidden pathogens or something like that. The immune system's distracted and busy, and the car accident happens, and the pathogens still take precedence, right? So you don't quite heal. I got in a car accident. I've never felt the same ever since. I've heard that a million times, right? And that's one of the reasons why. So when you look at your body, you want to stop triggering it as best you can. Which, the other way to say this, the other metaphor I like a lot is they say when you find yourself in a hole, the first step is to stop digging, right? So just don't make it worse. Okay, if you want to get out, just don't make it worse. And that's the same thing as putting extra books on the desk, more jobs to do, right? More stacks of paper for your liver to deal with, or for your immune system or your digestive system or whatever. So when you're analyzing, why do I feel the way I do? How do I get better? How do I get my life back? You start looking at, okay, what's working against me? Right? Certain foods I seem to have an issue with. Stop eating them, right? It may not be forever, but for right now, undo that digestive burden, right? Oh, I'm always reacting to synthetic chemicals, and well, great. Don't put in a Glade plug-in in your house then, right? No perfumes. Just stop doing it. Yeah, but my family always wears that kind of stuff. Well, you might have to tell them. You might have to actually tell them, hey, I'm having a hard time with this. I'm trying to heal this. Is this important that I get my life back? Yes. Could you please not wear that stuff for give me a couple months, to see if that changes anything. Have a conversation with them, right? And if they're not willing to do that, or they don't understand, one, you could make them watch some of my videos, because that might work, having a third party talking head, right, explaining this stuff, show them this one. Or just take a break from them for a little while. Maybe they don't want to listen to you. Maybe they don't care enough to try to understand. So just pause that relationship, or go out of town for a little while, or do whatever you got to do to get away from these triggering agents. Mold in your house, right? That can make you sick. It's having the devil in your house, basically, right? Get out of there. Go away from there. Some people live on the road. They live in metal trailers. They camp, right? And it's difficult. It's not an easy life, but you do what you got to do, and you get tough about it, because you need to stop putting more burdens on your body, right? You start making decisions. Some of the people with complex chronic health conditions that I work with are some of the bravest, toughest people I've ever met in my life. They are not scared of that kind of thing, where they say, hey, I can't be around this, and this. And it's not because I'm picky and looking for attention. It's because every time I do, it sets me back, and I'm trying to heal, and I'm trying to get better, and I'm trying to get to the point where I can then handle that stuff again, but I haven't hit my critical threshold of healing yet. I'm not quite resilient. I'm still in the pit. I'm trying to dig myself out of it. I can't be around this stuff, so I won't be around this stuff. And they draw a hard line, and they don't cross it, and then they get better. They go do their work, and they get better. Not easy, right? Not everybody can handle that. Sometimes we have to step it down. Right? We have to say, okay, you're going to deal with the triggers. Here's how we can mitigate them or make them smaller, because this is also real life. We can't always draw a hard line, right? Sometimes there's things that have been sprayed in the sky. Sometimes there's electromagnetic wavelengths that are being blasted right at your head, right? There's some stuff you can't control, some stuff you can't block. So you need to have ways to minimize your triggers, right? And mitigate those, that's a lot of what I do is providing tools for that, to try to soften that burden of the things you can't escape or can't get away from. But the things you can, if it's just your social conditioning or fear holding you back, you may want to explore that, right? You might not want to give yourself more work to do, because if your body does heal the most recent thing first, then it's constantly getting distracted with, your best friend's cologne or whatever. Get away from that. You've got deeper stuff to deal with. If you've got biofilm activity and a lot of immune reactions and swelling and things like that, you need to handle that first, right? Before you get around everybody's petrochemical adornments, right? All these kinds of things. We got swindled, as a culture. We got taught this lie of better living through chemistry, and this stuff is damaging us. It really is. It's through a lot of heavy marketing. It's been kind of woven into our culture, and everybody thinks that everything needs to smell like some kind of chemical. It's not good. And a lot of people are waking up to this. And if you hide that, if you by having these conversations with your friends and family about, hey, this thing is actually making me sicker, they might start to find out that it's making them sicker too, and they hadn't even noticed. Right? Part of this is we're actually leading a cultural shift where we're starting to wake people up of the things that trigger people with complex chronic health conditions also trigger normal people. They just don't feel it yet. They're just not that sensitive. It hasn't built up to a critical threshold where it's hurting them yet, but that doesn't mean it's good. So I know this is a reframe, right? Because it's like, hey, I'm trying to heal. I don't feel good. I don't have a lot of power. I don't have a lot of energy. Yes, you do, right? Find it and actually realize that even though you don't feel great, you can still be in a place to influence and teach other people. Isn't that interesting, right? You can still be a leader, even if you're not 100%. So use this, right? Reframe it. Make your sensitivity into a gift, right? Where we don't have to cling to it and build an identity around it and only find significance from our suffering, right? That's important to get away from that. But we can also use it as a gift where we're not just preaching at people, but helping to open their eyes to the fact that it's okay to live outside of the petrochemical, like reductionist, better living through chemistry type system. It's okay to live in a little bit more of a nature-based way. It's okay if your house smells like a house or smells like incense or sage or something. It doesn't have to smell like a Glade plug-in or the equivalent of that, right? Whatever those things are that put fragrance into your air, right? Those kinds of things. So you can be a force of inspiration for the people in your life if you're not afraid to confront this yourself. So try to take the jobs off of the desk for your body, right? Try to stop digging the hole. If every time you go in somebody's house and it smells like chemicals, you're just digging the hole deeper, right? Then either talk to them about it or stop going there. That's what it's going to come down to. Or keep going there and don't expect anything to get better, right? Or keep going there and try your best to minimize the damage. But you're losing leverage at that point. So think about these things and just know that if you're trying to heal deeper, older issues, that you're going to have to start managing your present. And sometimes I know this can be difficult at first, but you do start removing a lot of things from your life, a lot of these inputs that are working against you. But the good news is you can start to add in inputs that are working for you. And that's fun. That actually is the fun part where you start to create your own culture. So speaking of culture, if you're dealing with a complex chronic health condition, you may enjoy the culture in our group, right? Don't do this alone. Be around people that understand and get it. And it's called Modern Vitality Solutions and Support. We're international. We've got wonderful people from around the world. Everybody's working on their way through the stages 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Immune, digestive, neuroadrenal, blood circulation, in that order, because there is an order to healing, which is the big difference between why most people try things and they don't work. It's just because you're doing the right things, but out of order. So just with a little guidance, most people can get themselves a healing plan that's actually going to work long-term. You may enjoy being a part of the conversations in there. I'm in there. It's free to join as a guest, and you can ask me anything you'd like, and I'll give you my perspective happily. So your application's in the description box below here. If I see it and it looks really good, I'll let you in just as soon as I can. Everybody gets the same fair opportunity, so it's first come, first serve, and we do fill up. So there might be, I don't know, a couple weeks, couple months, something like that of a wait, but I will get you in just as soon as I can. In the meantime, like the video, subscribe to the channel, do those things that trains the algorithm to show you more information like this. Because you need to learn a lot of stuff in order to heal. You need to be studying and learning about yourself and being exposed to this kind of information. It's going to help speed you along. So if you're dealing with a complex chronic health condition, this is probably the most important thing you got going on right now. Pay attention, do what you got to do, right? Learn the things you need to learn so you can heal and move on and get back to your life. And sometimes training the algorithm, right, to show you more things that help you, it's a crucial step. Otherwise, it's just going to distract you with, cat videos and stuff like that, which isn't always bad, but we've got work to do. So I hope this helps you. Let's get you feeling better. Cheers.